Hello friends, thanks for joining me today. Make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video for a little snippet of an aspiring cowboy. Hello friend, happy new week, happy new Thursday. Every Thursday I put out a video here called Sharing Community. It's my new series called Sharing Community, where I tell you about a diligent homemaker who is part of the Heritage Ways community, and that could be you. A diligent homemaker is just someone doing the best she can with what she has, the resources she has. Sometimes she'll make homemade chicken and dumplings from going out and raising the chicken and butchering it and making everything from scratch. Or maybe she goes to buy a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese or Aldi macaroni and cheese because that's what she can do that day. That's the best she can do. That is diligent homemaker, and we're always striving to be the best that we can be, and to do better each day. But we give ourselves grace. So welcome here. If you're a diligent homemaker, I hope you'll subscribe to Heritage Ways. I'm Miss Katie, and Heritage Ways is where I teach and encourage and support homemakers and homesteaders. Today, I am out on my swing at my Tennessee house, new to us Tennessee house. So I love a swing. Do y'all sit on the porch swing? Do you have a porch swing? Did you once upon a time? Did your grandma have one? Do you want one? I'd love to hear. I just love swinging. Just gives me, just calms me down. I'll try not to swing too much while we're talking, but I don't want to make you dizzy. But it just gives me peace, and it always has. And my sweet Mr. Patient, my wonderful Mr. Patient, recognizes that. So this was one of the very first things that he put up when we moved into this house. I'm drinking peach tea, and I love this. It's a concentrate that I found, and you can sweeten it however you want, so it doesn't already have sugar, which is wonderful to me. And so that is what I'm drinking today. I wonder what you're drinking. Today I want to talk to you about another friend of mine whom we met in real life. And I was thinking this morning, there's so many folks that write for the Journal newspaper who are real life friends of mine. And some of them I met after we started the Journal newspaper. And some of these folks I've not met yet. Some I met way before, so different scenarios there. The Journal newspaper is the newspaper written by and for homemakers and homesteaders, like-minded group of people. And people have said to me, Miss Katie, where has this been? Why have I not heard of this? Well, I don't know. We're in our 5th year, going on our 6th year of publication, and we're going strong, and I'm so thankful. So now you've heard about it, and you can check the description box for links. I'll drop a link where you can read more about it, read what it is, what's in it, the cost, the subscription cost per year, and that sort of thing. Okay, I want to tell you today about a friend of mine who writes a section in the paper. Now, just so you know how this works, at the end of every year, I always contact folks who've been writing for the columns, the various columns and sections, and I'll say, would you like to participate for next year? We'd love to have you. And they'll say, yes, I'd love to, or no, I just can't do it for next year. And that's fine. That's fine. But we do ask for a commitment for a year. I'm going to tell a story that I've never told her, and I'm going to tell everybody at the same time, and my sweet friend will hear this. When we traveled full time for 2 years in 2018, end of 2018 to the mid 2020, we were traveling and to meet our social media friends. We didn't have a great income at all, so we didn't do all the touristy things. But we were traveling solely or primarily to meet y'all, to meet social media friends. And we stayed in folks' yards, we parked our RV. We didn't ever ask if we could, but most often we took folks up on their invitation for us to stay at their farm or their driveway, all kinds of scenarios. We stayed in state parks. We stayed in other parks. A lot of times Mr. Patient would work in order for us to be able to stay at no charge. He would do work around the property. We would stay in folks' farms and help them. And so there were different scenarios. And pretty much in every scenario, I had already talked to the person ahead of time, been communicating with them, had been online friends with them. And how we would do it is we would get on Instagram. We used Instagram as our sole way to let people know where we were going to be. And we had made YouTube videos up to the point saying, building all of us up. We were excited too. This is what we're going to do. And we sold our farm and the whole business. And we traveled around for 2 years and all this. And so folks knew and were excited about it and said, please stay with us or please come visit us or whatever. And so most of those people I knew ahead of time and online. And there was one friend that I had just, if I remember right, I didn't know her very well. Like I hadn't communicated with her on social media much. If I remember right, we were new friends right at the time that started following each other right at the time that we started RVing. So this one friend reached out when she heard we were in Texas. And at the time we were visiting, I think we were in San Antonio visiting Daddy Curb's farm. He has a great YouTube channel and on social media as well, Instagram as well. Great family. And this friend had contacted me through Instagram and said, hey, you can come stay at our place. And I told Mr. Patient, I said, I don't know her that well in the fact of I haven't really had a long-term online relationship with her. And I said, I don't really know, and I don't want to put her out. And I just didn't know what to do. And he said, well, her offer's very kind. And she had also another place in a town nearby that she said, well, you could stay there too. I thought, wow, this is very generous. And I'm thinking, but, I don't know. And sometimes you probably know how it is. Actually, this never happened on our trip. I'll just go ahead and say that. But sometimes you might be apprehensive because you're like, am I going to get along with the person? Are we going to jive? How's it going to work if we were to stay there for a few days? You just don't know sometimes. And so finally, Mr. Patient and I talked about it, and the friend was very, very nice to emphasize it is no problem at all. You are welcome here. And she explained the arrangement where we could stay. And I was like, I don't know, Mr. Patient. And he's like, I don't know. And so finally, he and I talked about it, and we were like, okay, look, let's just do it. We're just going to do it. She seems like a very nice lady. And again, never met her before and hadn't had a lot of communication with her prior. And I was like, she seems very nice. I've talked to her a few times, but that's it. And so we decided we would do it. So we went down, and they live on the Texas border, Mexico-Texas border, in the most beautiful place that my daughter has ever seen on the earth, on a ranch. And I didn't expect to get sentimental, and I want to tell you that when we accepted their invitation, they were so kind when we got there, we didn't, that's another thing, I didn't know anything about her family really, because I hadn't, quote, followed her much on social media. So I really didn't know much about them. And so we got there, parked the RV in this very ample space, and met the family, the children, young adults they were at the time, and okay, sorry, I didn't expect this. That we were there with them for a few days. I don't remember how many, like 3 or 4 or something like that. And we finally, Mr. Patient and I were talking, and it was such a blessing. Some people would say divine appointment or something. It was such a blessing for our family to be there in their presence on their ranch that we went to them, and this is the first time I did this, or the only time I did this on any trip. And I was like, I hate to ask you this, but can we extend our stay? And actually, I've done that. We did it on two times, once in Florida as well. But I said, could we stay longer than we had planned? It was such a blessing for us to be there with them.
When we talk about our RV times and our trip, Mr. Patient very often says to me, you know, Katie, we almost missed out on that huge blessing by not accepting their invitation. We almost missed it.
Yay! Shawn and her family, but Shawn is a very dear friend of mine. If I needed her to, for some reason, and I know she would be on a plane tomorrow. If there were a situation where I said, Shawn, I've got to have you here tomorrow, she would do it. I encourage us all to use social media intentionally. If you're going to use it intentionally. And also, don't be afraid. Yes, be cautious, but don't be afraid to step out and build relationships. Okay, well, I am so thankful for Shawn and her son and her husband, Bowen, and their children. Love them all. I love them all so much. So I want you to go follow her. I will drop a link in the description box of this video for you to go follow her. I'll tell you now a little funny story, and then I'm going to tell you what she writes for the journal, and then I'm going to tell you goodbye after that today. But a little funny story was about, I don't know, was it a couple years, maybe a year, I guess a year and a half or something, after we had visited them. I had purchased a Christmas ornament from Shawn. It's a beautiful Christmas ornament because I have a travel tree and I like to have ornaments that signify places we've been. So I had purchased that, and they, remember where they live, I just told you, and we were living in Ohio, and I was outside at the garage unpacking boxes because we had just moved into that Ohio house, and up comes, here in Ohio, in mid-Ohio from the Texas border, up comes walking up our driveway are Shawn and her husband Bowen. And I was like, it's like you see a mirage sometimes. You're like, what? And they had come because they were actually not in the neighborhood. They were like 3 hours away at a ball game, but they drove up to see us. And she joked and said, well, you bought the ornament, but you forgot to pay postage, so I had to bring it to you. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I didn't pay postage, but I'm glad I didn't now. So that was fun. And I've got pictures here of that day that they came up our driveway. That was just so sweet. Thanks for listening to my story. And now you know who writes for the pantry. The pantry is a section in the newspaper, and it's just about food and about our groceries and about recipes. Pantry is the overall name, and then we have the recipe box. And Shawn writes a little bit, or whomever's writing that year. We've had different people. So thankful that Shawn has committed to this year, and I kind of hope she continues to, but that's up to her. And she's got salted caramel blondies right here, Oreo pops, 7-layer magic cookie bars, and that is in this issue. Now, I will say, we want and expect and need and ask for your recipes. We want to print your recipes. So there's an email, Shawn's Heritage Ways email that's linked to Heritage Ways, linked to the journal, is in here, and you would just submit your recipes, and you will get credit in the newspaper. So I encourage you to submit your recipes. It's going to be too late for this next issue, but for the holiday issue, we call it, coming up in December, you can have your recipes printed in the newspaper, and you will get credit. Typically, we only put a first name, a last initial, and a state, just so you know that. But that is Shawn, and I'm going to drop a link down below for her brand and she makes the most beautiful wreaths. She has a wreath business, so you go check out our dear friend Shawn Creamer. Learn more about her family, or you can go to her website. I'm glad you're here. I am really glad you're here. I love people. I love talking to people. I love making connections and building community. I'm Miss Katie from heritageways.com. Go visit me over there. And in the meantime, always count your blessings, y'all. There's so many to count every day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Just, now this time I'll make it.
Okay.
Gracie. Gracie. Okay, just.
Ready? Go. There you go.
I'm just in the road.
Except I don't think you'll have to be alone in this, because Clay was telling me that you were alone when you were doing the other thing.
That thing's not going to go anywhere.
What are you doing? Roping.
Tie down, Ruben.
Yeah!
Woohoo!